Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.
Razavani for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me, I've got my very good friend all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Is that how you're going to start Frozen?
It's fine. Amer Abdallah. Amer, how are we?
I'm good, man. I hope your internet connection lasts throughout this interview.
It will do. It will do. It did actually pause there for a second, but I blame your connection over mine.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you dressing up for the call. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. I'll be editing myself out of this video screen anyway. Amer? How are you? How are the family?
Alhamdulillah, man. Everybody's great, man. Everybody's blessed. Everything is going terrific as we planned, inshallah.
How are things in terms of COVID-19 here in the UK? We kind of calmed down towards July.
Raza, you know I hate to do this to you, but you know I got Badou calling me. Hang on just 1 second here. IFL listeners, Badou, salam alaikum. Bro, I got brother Raza on the phone here. He's doing an IFL interview right now, so I gotta call you back unless you need something. Alaikum salam. He sends his salam, bro.
As I was saying, in the UK, towards July, August, September, things start to calm down. Restaurants, leisure centres, these kind of things start to reopen again. But it seems like over the last 4 weeks, we've kind of gone into like a tier system here based on how bad your area is. How are things in America at the moment with yourself?
They're awful. They're awful. I mean, things aren't getting better. Numbers aren't getting better. So I guess there's two sides of this, Raza. You can either look at it as, is the pandemic actually getting worse, or are the numbers just being fudged? I don't have an actual answer for that, but I will tell you that I believe that the pandemic is not, nearly over. I think that the disease is very real. From personal experience, I can tell you this thing is very real, and you got to take measures to be able to alleviate and remedy and distance and take all the PPE calls that you need to make sure that this thing is subsides globally. I think that there's a lot of people that don't take it as serious as they should, and I think that there's a lot of people that don't think it's as serious as it should, and that's why these numbers keep spreading. People just get they get tired. I don't want to be quarantined. I don't want to be locked down. I don't want to wear a mask. I travel quite frequently, and taking 4 or 5 hour flights with a mask on is not pleasant, but I would much rather do that. And I believe that the mask doesn't prevent you from getting it, it prevents you from spreading it. So you're actually doing it for everybody else. But again, people believe what they want to believe, and it's just the way that it is. But to answer your question, it's not getting better.
But what, 6-7 months into the virus, has it slowed you down from a personal perspective in terms of your interaction?
No, man. Alhamdulillah, things are, and like we were talking, earlier, things are so busy now. We have this great opportunity of this mega fight that's coming up, the Royjones and Mike Tyson fight that we're a part of, and we're very honored to be a part of it. We appreciate, Mike and brother Azim reaching out and offering us that opportunity there. We have 2 slots on that card. We've got a lot of things going on with a lot of new fighters, a lot of, active guys that are coming on, a lot of new up-and-coming guys. There's so much opportunity. Alhamdulillah, we just started OSP, Sports and Entertainment, from a company that I partnered with, and we're starting a whole new sports management phase. So, no, things are good. Things are good. Alhamdulillah.
You spoke about Mike Tyson and Royjones Jr. We'll come to that shortly, but let's talk a little bit about a fighter you've been with for a while, Badou Jack. I spoke to Badou a number of weeks ago, and I said, the rumor out there was the John Pascal rematch, and that was the next fight for you. Can you give us an update on why that fight hasn't taken place, and is that due to the pandemic?
Well, I think it's absolutely due to the pandemic. First of all, there's nothing confirmed with Badou Pascal 2. We leave that to Leonard Ellerby and Mayweather Promotions, and we let them kind of put that into place. Badou wants the fight. He wanted to fight him October 24th, and now it's been pushed back to October 31st on the Tank Davis card. I think Pascal wants the fight, and Pascal wants to be paid, you know, what his market value is. The problem is you can't pay fighters that because there's no gate. Now that after you know, the whole negotiation after the card was already done, now there is a gate, even though it's at a third capacity. But I hope the fight happens. I'm not a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I would bet the fight happened. That both guys, they have mutual respect for and admiration for one another, and they both want the fight. So I would anticipate that the fight does get done.
I spoke to Badou, and Badou said that is the fight that he wants. He feels like he won that fight. He put a lot into that fight, considering he came from a very nasty, probably one of the nastiest wounds I've ever seen personally. So Badou certainly wants that fight. So after this fight in November, is that the next fight, pandemic or no pandemic, considering we just don't know when this pandemic actually going to go away?
Look, and there was a couple of questions there. Badou won the fight. Was it a close fight? Yeah. Did Badou start late? Yeah. But Badou won that fight. And I believe deep down inside, Pascal's people know that Badou won the fight. And the reason that I say that is after the fight, if there was a camera, and I've said this on a couple of interviews, if there was a camera that panned our corner and their corner, you could see we were celebrating. I grabbed Leonard Ellerby, I kissed him on the head, I grabbed Badou, we're jumping and celebrating, and Badou was the only one in the corner that was sitting there saying, man, it's not over until they announce these scores. He was the only one out of all of us because he's been there so many times. And if you panned over to Pascal's corner, you know, they weren't that happy. They weren't that excited. Pascal barely survived the 12th round. And mind you, he had a good first 6 rounds. But I don't think he had a first 6 rounds solid because he won them as opposed to Badou just not starting fast enough. It was a good fight. We'd love to run that back, and we'll see what happens in the second one, inshallah.
He's fighting in November against Blake McKernan. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Where has Blake come from? Why Blake on this particular undercard? And who kind of made that decision? Because it seems like this event has nothing to do with Mayweather Promotions.
No, the event doesn't have anything to do with Mayweather Promotions. Mayweather Promotions gave us the okay for Badou to fight on an outside card. And, you know, we couldn't get the October 24th or now the 31st fight done. So we kept busy, and Mike and his team reached out to us and offered us a slot on that huge card. So we took it. Badou's fought 8 world champions back to back. He deserves to take, you know, a little bit of a break. And I'm not saying that Blake's a break, but it's not the caliber of a Pascal or a Stevenson or a Boutte or Cleverly or, you know, any of those guys that he's fought, or even Marcus Brown. He's not that level. But it's a good stage for him, and what it also did, and I think that it's very admirable on Badou's behalf, is he said, listen, I mean, because this fight isn't that way, I'm going to take all the proceeds that I make from this fight, and I'm going to put it into the Badou Jack Foundation. And it's a great stage to promote his foundation. And Badou is one of the most admirable and honorable men that I've ever met. And that's why I feel so honored to be with him and along this journey. And this is just another indication of that. Is, you know, being able to fight not for a world title, not even for money, because he's not going to make anything off of it. He's going to donate it all to his foundation.
That was going to be my second question. I know Badou, obviously his roots come from Gambia, and obviously Gambia is known not to be a rich country. We have many people there who are homeless, who don't have food, who just about have water or no water at times as well. So the whole purpose of Badou giving his purse away is absolutely admirable. And is that something anyone encouraged, or is that something from his heart that he said himself, I wanted to do?
Oh, without a doubt, man. But Badou, look, here's the thing. I've only been working with Badou since 2017. So, even though it sounds like a lifetime ago, it wasn't until the Cleverly fight that we first started working together. And he was donating a lot to Gambia, and he was doing a lot with, international donations and all of that kind of stuff. But I said, why don't you just start a foundation? Your platform is so big, you can actually help these people so much more. You can magnify the reach. You can, there's so much more that you can do. You can put awareness on this, if not for more financial donations and charity. And we started the Badou Jack Foundation. Now he's not only working with Gambia, and he's helping, he's partnered with the Spot Project there, where they built orphanages and they're helping the refugee children there, but he works with Syrian, Palestinian refugees in camps in Jordan, which borders Syria. It's the second largest refugee camp in the world. He's built rehabilitation centers in Palestinian refugee camps. He's built education centers in refugee camps. And now he's shifting his focus to foster children in the United States. You know, the slogan of the foundation is giving children across the globe a fighting chance. It's not limited to a race or a demographic or a nationality or a religion. It's helping children and helping them around the globe. So that's who Badou Jack is.
Viddal Riley also gets an opportunity. Viddal obviously signed up with yourself, with Mayweather Promotions, now finds himself on a Mike Tyson, Royjones undercard. I bet he never dreamed of ever seeing Mike Tyson fight, let alone be on his undercard.
You know, Viddal Riley is a young, up-and-coming, hungry athlete, and probably one of the most talented that I've seen. And even at that level, there's a lot of challenges that come with that. I mean, being catapulted at such a big stage so early in your career is a big task to take. And he's taken it head on, and he's an absolute champion in doing that. And sometimes I think maybe I should have just put him on, club fights and, smaller shows, building him up. In his first event, we took him to Mexico and Tijuana, and there was a friend of ours, and we bought the slot. We paid for the slot just to see what he's all about. I wanted to make sure that, he had the goods, and he ended up getting rid of the guy in a little bit over a minute. So he said, okay, let's bump it up a little bit. And bumping it up was the Adrian Broner Manny Pacquiao card. Mayweather Promotions opened up that slot, and they opened it up before he even signed with Mayweather Promotions. And Leonard had shown that kind of interest in Viddal. His third fight was in Dubai, and he was the main event in the first ever pay-per-view kickboxing and boxing event in Dubai. He was the main event there on his third fight. His fourth fight was his Mayweather Promotions debut, and we have that allegiance and that loyalty to Leonard and Mayweather Promotions, and he signed with them, and he fought his Mayweather Promotions debut. And now his fifth fight is on the Mike Tyson Royjones card. It's a big stage for him, and it's a lot to take on, and he's taking it on like an absolute champ. And we have great ambitions for Viddal and a great plan for him, and it's just up to him to decide how far he wants to take it, how fast he wants to take it, and he's still 23 years old, so he's got the world at the palm of his hand.
I mean, I know you know Mike Tyson very well. I know you know Royjones very well. There's been a lot of talk recently, before I mentioned actually, but we've seen a lot of videos. Mike Tyson, Royjones, both training hard and looking great, looking sharp. I think Roy hasn't fought for about maybe 3 years, Mike about 15 years. So a lot of people are trying to understand what kind of participation are we going to see from both athletes? Are they going to go full on? We know it's 8 rounds. Is it an exhibition? Are they going to have a break in between rounds and do some interviews? How is the setup of this fight?
The setup of the fight is very unique, and it's very unique for a couple of reasons. One is the round length is shorter. It's 2-minute rounds. 2, it's 8 rounds. I don't know the last time Roy or Mike fought 8 rounds, 2 minutes. They've never fought 2 minutes, but 8 rounds. But I think the biggest difference in this fight is the fact that you've got 2 living legends in Mike Tyson, who, I mean, imagine if social media was around when Mike was fighting. He would be the biggest star in the world. And imagine if he had somebody even remotely close to managing his social media and all of the behind the scenes. And, Mike, at the peak of his career, was larger than life. And he was huge. So Roy and Mike, both living legends in their own right, and they are 54 and 52 respectively. So you have to take that into consideration. So it's so unique in the event. And now the WBC is putting up, the frontline championship, the frontline title for it. It's different. It's very it's an event. It's not going to be a fight. It's more of an event. Now, if you're asking me, do I think Mike Tyson can spar nice? No. Do I think Royjones can spar nice? No. I will say this. I was with Roy last weekend in Pensacola. What's today? Monday? I was with him 2 days ago in Pensacola. He's a beast. Man, Roy is a dog. And what I couldn't believe is I went down there. I might as well say it here. I signed Royjones and we agreed for me to represent Roy. And we're going to be doing a lot of international things with him. And you know, hopefully working him on a global stage, and particularly hopefully we're targeting a certain region. But we went down there to kind of solidify that deal, and I've met Roy several times, but it wasn't until I spent the day with him that I got to really see his passion. This guy's in training camp for Mike Tyson. You know how he spent his afternoon watching kids spar in his gym. And he got in the gym and he's in there sparring and he's, you know, coaching them and sparring with them. And I said to, one of his friends and advisors, James Brown, I said, James, Champ should get off his feet. Man, maybe you should just sit down, go home, relax, and get ready for his training session. He's like, are you crazy? He's like, this is what Roy does. He opens the gym up to the kids in his gym and he watches them spar and he trains them and he coaches them. And I'm like, Roy, you know, he's like, this is my passion. This is what I do. He goes, now you know. And then that night he goes fishing, and you know, he's just, it's amazing to be around a guy that high of a caliber, that elite of an athlete, and he still has his grassroots in place. You know, as I was going to Roy's house, I mean, I say house, on 81 acres of land. I said to the driver, you know, we were talking boxing, and I go, so what do you think of Royjones? I didn't tell him what I was there for. What do you think of Royjones? He goes, are you kidding me? He goes, man, that's our guy. He's like, not that, like that other guy, Emmett Smith, who doesn't even remember where he's from. You know, Roy did us good. He did us well. We're so proud of him. And you could see it. Roy doesn't walk around with security. You know who security is? Every single resident of Pensacola, Florida. Every one of those guys love him. They value him. Every place that we go to eat, they take care of the checks. They, you know, he's just a down-to-earth, grassroots kind of guy. And I really appreciated being around somebody like him. And you know what the most important thing was? Is he's a man of faith. He's a man of God. And I'm looking forward to working with him.
We've got the press conference, I believe, which is happening end of this week.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw a press conference with Royjones and Mike Tyson both being calm, and collective. So are we going to see the 90s flex coming out of both of them?
Well, they're not going to be in the same location. So that'll save any kind of confrontation physically. I will say that I think you're going to see a very interesting press conference. And I think Triller and Frontline Battle, I think they've done a great job promoting this fight. I think the Legends Only League that Mike started, who's really the head promoter here in this event, they did a great job putting these guys together. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see. Are they going to get into trash talk? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Mike's always got one foot on that line. All you got to do is push him just a little bit, and he's going to, you know, open up. And Roy, same exact thing. He's a nice, gentle guy, but I asked him a question when we were together, and he flipped like this. And he turned into that Royjones, best in the world, pound for pound greatest. Don't you know who I am? That kind of Roy. You know, you can't do anything but admire these guys and really respect what they've done for the sport. And now, you know, I hope people ask me for predictions all the time. I'm very close to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's like, you know, I consider him part of my family, you know, same, you know, religious background and faith. And Roy, now that I'm working with him, mind you, before I worked with Roy, I asked Mike and Azim, I asked them, you know, permission. I said, do you have any problem? And they're like, of course not. You know, they have that kind of mutual respect and love. But I think that it's going to be a very interesting fight. And I do call it a fight. I don't call it an exhibition.
Is this going to be a one-off, or are we going to see the winner, you know, climb the ladder and go find somebody else?
I don't know. I certainly don't have any insight. This is me just guessing, you know, from the top of my head. I would say that at 54 years old and at 52 years old, training camp isn't like when you were 42 or 32 or 22. It's certainly not the same. And there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. I don't believe, and this was the point that I was getting to earlier, I don't believe that guys at that age should continue to fight. I don't. And I've been asked a lot of times about, you know, the predictions of what I think. You know what I hope? I hope they both come out safe, and I hope they both make a lot of money. And that's it. I don't care about winner, loser. That's indifferent to me. Now, Mike and Roy are going to say different, but there's no difference for me. I'd like to see them both come out of that healthy, well, their legacy intact, and hopefully, you know, a nice big fat paycheck.
I know the fight was originally supposed to take place in September, got rearranged in November, but was any thought in the back of mind to just delay it as long as possible to hope to get some fans in the arena?
Yeah, I think a fight like this, you know, these guys past their prime and out of the spotlight for quite some time. I think it did the event justice to push it back. I really do. I think that it needed the hype and the promotion that it deserves. You know, reflecting on their training camps, reflecting on their history, reflecting on the press conference, all of that kind of stuff. I think September 12th, and I think they were trying to do it within 10 weeks, 8 weeks. When it all really started picking up steam, 6, 7 weeks. Now, who do I think that benefits? I think that benefits Mike. I think that that's definitely a plus for him because he's been out of the gym much longer than Roy has been. But regardless, event-wise, I think it's great for the event. I think it should. I mean, mind you, everybody was excited for September 12th. But I think it did it a lot of justice to be able to push it back.
In terms of network, where is this going to be shown in America and also in the UK? Where can the UK fans see this fight?
You know, I don't think they've announced the international distribution quite yet. And it's going to be a pay-per-view. There is a network that's going to be hosting the pay-per-view. It's going to be, it wasn't like it was originally scheduled. I think it was announced that it was going to be on the Triller app. Triller is doing all the promotion and doing a great job with it. But the actual fight will be on a regular pay-per-view, and I believe they're in the final stages of finalizing and publicizing the international distribution outlets.
Okay, well, we look forward to it. Amer, you mentioned there a few moments ago about WBC recognizing this fight and bringing in a belt. So I want to touch on something that Floyd Mayweather said last week, where he said on Showtime that the WBA, the WBC, the WBO, the IBF all need to sort the act out. There's too many belts in boxing. We just sometimes don't know who the champion is of the division. We saw 10 days ago, Teofimo Lopez became the #1 lightweight in the division. The question mark is he regarded as the undisputed champion? We know Lomachenko was regarded as the franchise champion, Devin Haney, the WBC champion. When I spoke to Marisa Suleiman 7-8 weeks ago, he said to me that the franchise was a recognition and a status and was not transferable. So is it just a way of the governing body just to make more money?
I'm not frozen. I'm thinking of my answer. I have tremendous respect for Mauricio Suleiman. On a personal level, for his father, on a business level, I have tremendous respect for the WBA, the IBF, the WBO, Ring Magazine. The UFC did it right. One champion, one weight class, no promoter, no network. Everything's under one umbrella. There's no dispute of who the world champion is. Even an interim champion, I can actually justify interim champions as long as it's used in the right capacity, as long as it's, you know, for a champion that's out with an injury and number 2, number 3 need to fight, and they have the interim until the champion comes back and then fights. I can see that. But having all of these, you know, alphabet organizations, BC, BA, IBF, IBA, you know, WMBF and all WWF and all the other stuff, and that's too much. It is too much. And then on top of that, you know, when Badou was fighting with Pascal, they said, you're fighting for the regular title. And I go, what's that mean? And they go, well, because there's the super champion. Well, what's the difference between a world champion and a super champion? And I'm confused when you're talking to me, Raza, about a franchise champion. I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand why there's a necessity for that. And mind you, if I sat down with Mauricio and we had the conversation, I'm sure he could justify it on his end and explain it much better than you or I could explain it. But you're asking me from my personal perspective. I think it's too many. And how do you tell the WBA and the WBC and the IBF, listen, guys, no more sanctioning fees. It's one united title, and you guys are all going to have to split it, or it's only going to be one. Again, I think that the UFC did it right in that aspect, and I think that is the right way to do it. I don't think there should be, excuse me, I don't think there should be a couple of different champions. And you know what the thing is we're just used to it. It's not that it's right or wrong. We're just immune to all of the different alphabet organizations and being able to see that. It is confusing. I'm the champion of, I'm the lightweight champion of the world. But so is he. But so is he. But so is he. One champion. That's how I think it should be. And again, when you say who the heavyweight champion is in the UFC, there's one guy. And the fights, by the way, you're fighting him because he's number 2, you're number 1, go fight. That's the way it is. And I think that's why there's not much confusion. And, sadly to say, I think that's why they gain the kind of steam that they do. But I still think, on a personal perspective, I think boxing is the best sport in the world, combat sport in the world.
Amir, just before I end, just want to ask you, you mentioned the UFC. The UFC had a great show on Saturday night, headlined by someone in Habib, who won in the second round. But I want to touch on what happened at the end. He sadly announced to the world his retirement from the sport. He gave his justifiable reasons, but were you shocked with his announcement?
I'm more shocked that the IFL hasn't given you enough money to get a better internet connection. But from what I understand, from the question, I wasn't shocked. You know why I wasn't shocked? Because Habib stands for a lot more than the fighting. He stands for a lot more than winning titles and winning money and all of that. His religion, his faith, his honor, his integrity, his family is everything to him. If you remember what he said, he goes, I talked to my mother for 3 days to try to convince her to take this fight because our goal the whole time was my dad's in my corner, and without my dad, I don't fight. What kind of honor is that? Mind you, sports fans, UFC fans, MMA fans, combat sports fans, yeah, that's a huge loss for us because a guy like him, the Muslim world, huge loss for us. We've got a dominant Muslim champion that goes in and dominates a guy that legitimately is the second best guy in the world, and he dominates him. And there's a lot of pride to be taken there. But I think more so, I think that's even more commendable on his part and something more that we can revert to and kind of, hold him at a different kind of a spotlight, that this guy walked away on top in his prime, making the best money that he could. And he's still got many fights left in him. He doesn't show any signs of slowing down. This is a guy that's the most mature stage in his life. And he's walking away. And he's walking away. Why? Because he made a commitment to his father and a commitment to his family, and that's it. Money isn't the driving factor. I think that's so honorable.
Is it quite unique as well when you're on such a high, you're on top of the sport, you're undefeated, undisputed, regarded as one of the pound-for-pound fighters in the world, that you just say, you know what, I'm done. You just don't see that. Forget MMA, UFC, boxing, but in any sport.
You know what the problem is? Most guys end up coming back after that because they miss the light so much. They miss that, anybody that has fought can understand it. You do miss being the man. You miss the training camps of, you being the focal point, going to the weigh-ins and you're the main event, going to, these cards that you're headlining, you being the champ, you're number 1. People miss that and they come back and they get hurt. And I think that it takes a lot. And I hope he doesn't come back. And I hope that that's a decision. And I believe he's probably going to stick to it. That you walk away on top, man, that is a hard decision to make, especially when you're making the kind of money and you have the notoriety, the fame. You're pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and you're only getting better. And you walk away, man, that's unique. I don't think you ever see that.
Well, we wish Habib good health and happy retirement, and hopefully he can still be part of the sport in terms of training other fighters and bringing through the next generation in his native Pakistan.
Of course, 100%. He's got the platform for it, that's for sure.
Amir, thank you so much for giving me a bit of your precious time all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. Always a pleasure speaking to you.
Habibi, Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Raza. I appreciate all the support and all the great things that you guys are doing over there at IFL.
Amer Abdallah for IFL TV, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.